Well, hello again, fellow beer lovers. Happy to be coming back today. A beautiful, sunny day here in South Central Minnesota, Greater Twin Cities. Um, Today, we're going to be discussing cream ales in general, and the Kentucky's Vanilla Barrel Cream Ale in particular. Now, this I think will be an informative discussion, since everybody would want to know, well, what exactly is a cream ale anyway? So I'll give you a little bit of history, okay? First of all, nobody really knows who coined the expression cream ale, or exactly why, because cream ales aren't particularly creamy, and they have nothing at all to do with any kind of dairy product at all. And so really there's no way to know exactly why they call it that. But I can tell you a few things. Okay, first of all, cream ales are similar to pale lagers, and however, they're brewed as an ale, but sometimes they're finished with a lager yeast. Or even sometimes they'll even be mixed with actual lager beer, which would make me want to classify it as a hybrid beer. Okay. Also, they're known for mixing adjuncts such as corn and rice into them, and supposedly in order to create a lighter body to the beer. However, I question that a little bit, because the big industrial breweries are infamous for using those same adjuncts or cheaper ingredients simply to cut their own costs and increase their profits at the expense of the beer drinker, who they've duped into believing that this is the best there is, and merely refreshing, by getting everybody to think that the very best way to serve their beer is at the coldest possible temperature, thereby preventing the actual bad flavor or lack of good flavor from becoming rapidly apparent. Okay, so but all that said, that doesn't mean that that cream ales are particularly a bad thing, because there are all kinds of other ways to improve or create a higher quality beer, and craft brewers are doing that with abandon these days across the U.S. So what else can I tell you? Let me take a look at. I wrote a couple things down for you. Okay, so why is it called a cream? We don't know, but I could tell you what else they've been called. They've been called sparkling beers and present use beers. And the reason they were called present use beers is that shortly after American Prohibition ended, the ale brewers wanted to create a lighter beer to satisfy the palate of the American market, which had become accustomed to lagers and pilsners over the last 100 years or more, and so present use, they called them present use beers, so because they did not have a long shelf life, and so the idea was as soon as it was made, it was supposed to be consumed. And then they're cold fermented like a Kolsch beer. And one example of a quite famous and highly rated cream ale is actually Spotted Cow. That's not an IPA. Spotted Cow is a cream ale. Okay. Now, it seems to me on this particular one, Kentucky's Vanilla Barrel Cream Ale, what it says here is that it's a cream ale with natural flavor added. That would be your vanilla flavor. And then it says aged in oak bourbon barrels. So it seems to me that the only reason that you would make a cream ale, if you're going to turn right around and then flavor it with two very strong flavors, vanilla and bourbon, is so that you have the opportunity to throw in the word cream, just so that the uneducated public would think it sounds very enticing and sophisticated and delicious. But that's just a guess, okay? But let's go ahead and give it a try. Definitely, with all that information, should be interesting to try it out, okay? The thing is, I can't imagine that I'm going to catch any of the flavors that you would normally associate with a cream ale. And cream ales, by their nature, normally wouldn't have a lot of flavor. But we should be noticing bourbon, alcohol, and vanilla. But let's take a look at what it looks like. So it's quite carbonated, which is one of the characteristics. I don't know if you can see it here. So one of the characteristics of a cream ale is it's sparkling or highly carbonated. I'm smelling the vanilla, and I do like vanilla porters and that sort of thing, so we'll see how this goes down. That's really the only thing I'm catching is the vanilla. I'm surprised I'm not smelling high alcohol content. Let's see what it's only 5.5%. I would expect it to be higher with the since it's potentially got some quantity of bourbon in there. You know what's kind of interesting? It's very delicious. Okay, what's interesting is, as I mentioned, that I don't smell the bourbon, and that's apparently it seems that they kept that down on purpose, but that bourbon flavor in just a subtle dose mixed with vanilla. Also, they did a good job of not over flavoring it with the vanilla. That's a very good flavor that adds flavor to what otherwise would be a relatively flavorless beer. So, kudos to let's see who makes this. Not sure I'm going to find this out. I'll tell you what, I need to start wearing my readers. But anyway, it's Kentucky Vanilla Barrel Cream Ale. Hats off to the brewers. It's quite delicious. Go ahead and try one of these. As flavored beers go, the Beer Boss gives it a thumbs up. All right, cheers, and until next time, happy drinking.